Great Spirit, Namaste. Saints and sages of all times, of all places, Namaste. O ye pathmakers of old, Namaste. Ancestors, ancestors of our bloodlines, ancestors of our adopted lines, ancestors of all of the lineages to whom we attune, Namaste. Sweep clear the path. May our communication be clear. May our hearts be lifted, our minds be lifted, our way be lifted. May we heal that which needs healing, that we might walk afresh and anew. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shri Babaji Ya Namaha. Om Shri Lahiri Mahasayaji Ya Namaha. Om Shri Yukteswarji Ya Namaha. Om Shri Paramahansa Yoganandaji Ya Namaha. Om Shri Shaliji Ya Namaha. Om Shri Goswami Kriyanandaji Ya Namaha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste, Namaskar. Today, around the world, in many countries, not all countries, but in many countries today, the Father is being honored. In Norway, that doesn't happen until November. Other countries, it happens in May. But there's always one day out of the year when we stop and we say we want to honor the Father, and another day we want to honor the Mother. And so it's a way that must be very important culturally for us to stop and honor those two literal beings, physical beings, but also the symbols of Mother and Father. Now, it's difficult when a soul assumes responsibility. Arjuna on the battlefield of duty, on the battlefield of heart's desire. Arjuna is there, and he has responsibility. He's accepted the role of the king, the role of the leader of his clan, if you will. And he gets on the battlefield, and he's stuck. As one of my Swami friends would say, he's stuck. He's stuck there. And why is he stuck? Because he looks out and he sees, oh, wow, here's my family, here's my cousins, here's all these other people are out here, and I have to conquer them if I'm going to keep what I want. And he doesn't know what to do. He wants to throw his responsibility down and walk away. But the role of a mother, the dharma of a mother, the dharma of a father cannot be walked away from. Or can it? Is it always good? Is it always easy? It doesn't matter whether it's good or whether it's easy. What matters is that it is a powerful symbol within your consciousness, within my consciousness. We all live with an archetypical father and an archetypical mother. One of my friends wrote to me after the the noon meditation for the Mother's Day. And she said, "Oh, you described my mother perfectly." She said, "My mother was a Virgo who showed her love through criticism." To me, that was just beautiful. Has your father been a Virgo who shows his love through criticism? Or a Leo who shows his love through absolutely demanding that you live the way he wants you to live? Either we have to reconcile. And I don't think there's anybody here today who is living in the house of their papa or having their papa support them. You're not children, let's just say that. But your father is still very much alive within you, just as my fathers are alive within me. And I say fathers because for my symbol, there are multiple fathers, as I'm sure there are for you. Or maybe. Now, once upon a yogi time, in ancient days, there was Lord Shiva. He's still here. And Shiva decides to go on a journey. He goes and he says to Parvati, "I'm going to be off for a while. I'll see you when I get back." Okay, he's gone. Yeah, a month, 2 months, 3 months, he's not texting her, he's not calling her, he's not sending her psychic messages. She doesn't know when he's coming back, so she's quite bored. And so she decides to go out and play with some clay. And with that clay, she forms a boy, a beautiful child, a beautiful, beautiful child. And the child loved her, and she loved the child. It wasn't a baby, it was a boy that she formed, a boy, not a baby. She enjoyed the boy's company, and they really were happy together. Oh, one day she goes to take a bath, and she says, "Stay here, and make sure nobody can come in and bother me while I'm taking my bath." "Okay, Mama, okay." She forgets to tell him that if his papa comes, he needs to let him in. Lord Shiva comes to the house. "Nobody can enter. No, you cannot enter." First Shiva looks and says, "Who's this child? And what right does he have to tell me that I cannot enter my house?" And in a very non-yogic manner, very, very non-yogic manner, Shiva doesn't laugh. He's not kind. He's not loving. He's not caring. He's not logical. He's not a very good father. He says, "Get out of my way." And the boy says, "No, my mother said no one is to enter." "And who's your mother?" "Why, Sri Parvati is my mother." "Duh, Sri Parvati is my mother, my beloved mother." And so the story goes, Shiva, again, very illogical, Shiva becomes filled with rage and pulls out his sword and chops off the head of his child. Now, this is Lord Shiva, the great meditator, the king of the yogis, the patron saint, if you will, of the yogis. And he's carrying a sword, which I don't really see as an ascetic that Lord Shiva would normally be doing, but he cuts off the head of his child. What kind of father is this? And he goes in the house, talks to Parvati. Parvati cries, "What did you do? What did you do? You killed my baby. You killed my son. What's wrong with you?" Well, the next creature that walks by will give the boy the head of the next creature that walks by. So he goes out, and here comes an elefante, beautiful elefante. So again, he cuts off the head of the elephant, brings it back in, places it on the boy, blesses the boy, and there is the Lord Ganesha, who is just really a form of the divine that we attune to, a form of consciousness that is attuned to around the world. Now, what is that archetypical story about? What is that archetypical story about? The father goes away, he comes back, and he kills his child. Now, lest you think that it is only in ancient India that this happens, let us go to ancient Greece for a moment. Ah, yes, the son of Uranus, Kronos. Not Kronos means time. He's not the lord of time, but this word Kronos means time. Remember. Well, Kronos grows up, kills his father, Uranus. A lot of killing in these myths. What is that about? Gets married. And on the day of his wedding, one of the Ancient One comes. They're all coming to give them blessings and make predictions. And one comes and says, well, you will enjoy your power as king, but one of your children will kill you. Well, who wants that, right? Who wants to be told one of your children's going to kill you? So his wife gets pregnant. He solves the problem. He eats the child. He devours the child. He devours the child, right? Happens once, happens twice, happens 3 times, happens 4 times, happens 5 times. His wife is a little unhappy. Her children are devoured. So, the last baby that's born, she says, enough of this. And she takes a rock and she wraps it in swaddling clothes and places it in the cradle. Kronos stomps into the room as usual, and his wife has taken the baby and hidden the baby away, sent the baby away. Kronos swallows the last child, and he gets indigestion because he swallowed a stone. He gets indigestion. All right. Well, he walks around with indigestion for a while, and all of a sudden, Zeus, his last child, has grown up instantaneously in just a second. What happens? Zeus comes after his father. And in the rage of Zeus chasing him, and Kronos trying to get away from this angry child, he burps. He burps up because of the rock. And he burps out the rock, and all 5 of the children that he had devoured. He hadn't killed them, he devoured them. They were all alive, but he ate them. And then his son kills him. And that's the end of the story. Now, we have to ask ourselves, why in these 2 cultures, and we have these myths around the world, why in these 2 cultures that are so, and these 2 myths that are so far apart by time and by distance, why do we have myths of archetypical fathers who are said to kill their children or to devour their children or to harm their children. We find in the mythology sometimes great violence that you have to look at and say, yeah, this doesn't make sense. Where does it come from? Why do we need to hear these stories? Why? What is it trying to demonstrate to us? What are we trying to see? Because mythology, myths, stories like this are trying to communicate to us. They're trying to say something, speak to our subconscious mind. So what is it that it's trying to say? Now, the role of a father, and remember here that in yogic thought, the father is solar energy, masculine solar energy. The mother is lunar, feminine energy. But within you and me, we all have masculine solar energy and feminine lunar energy. The only difference is some of us are in body forms that seem to radiate a consciousness that is more feminine energy and some more masculine energy. And you can see that doesn't always hold true. For there is mythology that says there are, you can be in a body form and you have this third way of being, which is a manifestation that's not directly correlated with the physical body you're in. Nonetheless, we have to say, what are we trying to balance? What are we trying to understand? What do each of us have to do to attune to the highest realm of this solar energy, this energy of power? Now, the sun is life-giving. The sun, right? It's life-giving. Le soleil is life-giving. The moon picks up its light from the shadows. But the sun has that energy that it radiates by itself. It is power. It is the power complex within you, within me, that we have to balance out. Now, you think of the role of the father as, and I'm using the term the father, but I want to be clear that in many lives we know, sometimes the woman is the mother and the father figure. Sometimes the father is, the father figure or role is expressed by grandpapa or uncles or male friends. In Indian thought, guru is papa, as well as papa is papa. So Baba, the state of the sun center, is father. But you think about it, it's very important, because what happens when somebody accepts the dharma, the duty as a father? Well, the role of the father is to serve as the Lord, if you will, the one who is responsible for feeding, clothing, housing the family, educating, helping the children in a concrete way. That's not right. Concrete is not the way, because Mama does the same thing. But like Lord Shiva, oftentimes the father has to be away from home. For what? He's traveling. For what? To bring in the soybean bacon, as Pranananda would say, to make sure that there's enough earth prana to take care of the family. Now, we have to stop and respect that, because when you pick up that karma, it means very clearly, that you're willing to put aside your own hopes and dreams to take care of these others. I see it around me all the time. Kind men putting aside working hard, working long hours, working 2 jobs, working 3 jobs, to make their family comfortable. I met a man not long ago from Nigeria who came to America to work, to send money back to home for his sons and his wife. And the sons were being taken care of by the family. And when his beloved wife died, suddenly he had to go back to Nigeria. He hadn't seen his sons in a couple of years, but then he had to come back to America to continue the work that he was doing, to send money back, to send prana back to his family. That, my beloved, is giving up a lot. And he said, well, if I'm here for 10 years, maybe 15 years, my sons can come here. It's giving up of your earth prana for another. Very important and a very hard thing to do. Not easy karma. Now, we're not going to talk about all the people who aren't able to fulfill that, who take their karma and say, well, c'est la vie. Let them work it out on their own. And that's another piece of karma. Go back to the myth and think about this in terms of your own life and the way that you view the father figures in your life. Your father. Maybe you're fortunate that you have had a father or father figure who really accepted you. Who really accepted you. Just as you are. Imagine that. A father figure that did not impose his dreams upon you. Didn't care if you were an artist or an accountant or a grocer or a soccer player, a football player. Didn't care. He just supported you and gave you all of his wisdom. And you never disappointed him. For the greatest problem, really, in relationships that we have with fathers is that they work so hard, many of them, to help. But they get the bad rap. I don't know about you, but when I grew up, if there was a problem with my brothers and myself and Mama didn't want to deal with it, she would say, wait until your father gets home. And what happens? Mom says, wait till your father gets home. That's a pretty common expression. At least in the Western culture it is. Wait till Papa gets home. It immediately puts him in the position of authority and immediately instills fear. Immediately, Papa's home from working, you better be quiet, you've got to do this, and I'm going to tell Papa that you misbehaved. It's a problem, my beloved, because how can you please someone that you have fear of? How can you please when you have fear? How can you please when you're intimidated? How can you be comfortable? How can you trust them? How can you turn to them for counsel? Now remember, it is all within you. Your father is the shadow that you have within you. Your siblings have a different father figure. Maybe the same human, but it's different. They were born at a different time, a different place. Even if you're twins, it's not the same. The way you react to the father is and must be is within you, and therefore it must be transformed within you. Now the Father has great power, great power. The masculine symbol has great power. In Indian thought, the divine ones, the gods, if you will, the manifestation of God, and in Indian thought, there are many manifestations of God. But the gods don't have wives. They have consorts. There's a big difference between a wife and a consort. So Parvati was one of Shiva's consorts. Some people say wives, but it's really, mystically, it's a consort. Someone who is there to be, in Shiva's case, to be the equal. To really share balanced masculine and feminine energy. And that, my beloved, is what we're seeking. Within you, you want the masculine and feminine energy. You want it to be balanced. You don't want there to be an extreme this way or an extreme that way. Now, we're in a time where we have a bit of a problem culturally. We have a bit of a problem. What is that problem? Well, the Father, the masculine symbol, is considered to be the authority figure in archetypical thought. The authority figure. So what do we do when we're living in a time where the authority figures are not loving, are not kind, are not wise, are not compassionate, but are erratic? Come into the room and devour their children. Devouring their children, my beloved, is devouring their creations. What do? What do you and I do spiritually when we're living in a time, and we are, when the Father comes in and cuts off the head without thinking, without any concern at all? Take this off. I can replace it with the next thing that walks by. I'll kill that and add that on. In yogic thought, there's one goal. And that is the sustaining, attaining and sustaining of continuity of consciousness through the birth, death, and rebirth cycle. Rebirth, death, birth. To attain and sustain continuity of consciousness during this time, we must be able to balance our emotions. We must be able to say, well, what is this shadow that is living within me of the Father that may have nothing to do with Papa, may have nothing to do with Grandpapa? Someone said to me once, and I was very taken by this state of consciousness. We were talking about honoring your ancestors, and the man said, I can't. I saw my grandfather treat my father poorly, yell at him and abuse him. And I said, did it happen regularly? I mean, what, can you give me an example? No. But I was 4 or 5 years old and I saw him. I saw my grandfather, and I will never honor him because of that. That's a strong archetype within that man's soul speaking out. For one small event that as a child he perceived. As a child he perceived. And he would no longer willing, as an adult, this was an adult, this was a person in their 50s, well into adulthood, would not honor the ancestors, all of them, because of one little incident as a child. That means that there's a really significant imbalance within the shadow that you need to correct, you need to fix. It's not going to be news to you, I'm sure, to know that every parent disappoints their child. Every human parent disappoints their child. No matter how hard they try, every child disappoints their parent in some way or the other. Every child doesn't live their life the way that Papa wants. A man said to me this week, his daughter passed away earlier this year, and he was talking about the daughter who's still alive and saying how wonderful she was, and he says, thank goodness. The other one was such a disappointment. Oh my goodness. What a horrible thought he's left with. And what difficulty she's left with. What a piece of karma to unfold. Go to Kronos. Kronos swallowed. He devoured. He's time. He devoured the children. He devoured the creations. Time devours your creations. In time, it's going to spit them up again in the reincarnation cycle. Spit them out, if you will. And will they live and carry on, or will they become like a stone, solid? I'm sure this isn't what you expected to hear as a Father's Day meditation. We need to honor that symbol within us. We need to bring it into balance. We need to recognize and question, deeply meditate and question, why do these myths exist? Why do we see around us the, myth of the good king, the myth of the horrible king, the myth of the father who accepts responsibility and the father who doesn't? King Ludwig of Bavaria, they called him Mad King Ludwig. I'm not so sure he was mad, but he was crowned king and decided after a short while he didn't want this gig anymore. He was an artist, and he went off and, built a couple of castles and really withdrew from his responsibilities. He used that creativity to withdraw from his responsibilities. But we see examples over and over and over again, which must say how very hard it is to carry that piece of karma within the world. How very difficult it is to give up your own hopes and dreams, or to funnel those to take care of others. How much stress and pressure there must be on a person who's doing that, who's willing to give of their life energy to make someone else's life energy vibrant and vital. And so, spiritually, what is to be done? I think the question one must ask is, has your father disappointed you? A beautiful soul said to me a bit of a while ago, I was asking about Papa. How's Papa doing? Kind of a wrinkled nose. Yeah, okay. I said, what's the problem? Well, he had left the country and he moved to this other country far away. I said, oh. Did he move when you were a child? No. No, he just moved. Oh. You're an adult. You have children. You've got a career well on the way. Why is that a problem? Why did he move? Well, he wanted to be with a new lady friend in this new country. Is your dad happy? Yes, he is. Why is it a problem? Well, it's a problem because I think my father, if he was really a good father, would be a good grandpa and would stay here and have a close relationship with my children, which he can't have if he only comes a couple times a year. Do you do that to your father? Have you done that to your father? Have you looked at your father as an adult and said, you're a real disappointment to me? Or are there events in your life where Papa was a disappointment, where something happened that he was a disappointment? Probably there are. And so what we must do is say, what's this about? How do I balance it? It's all within you. Your reaction to Papa, to Mama, to Grandpapa, to Grandpapa, to Grandmama, to everyone is your shadow. Your reaction to everything that happens in your life is from your past. You brought it in with you. Healing that, transforming it, transmuting it is what one needs to do to grow spiritually. So one needs to be able to turn inward, ascend upward, and honor, first of all, the soul who you chose as your father. You all are here as humanoids, as best as I can tell, which means you chose your mother and then you chose your father. And the idea that you didn't is an error. In mystical thought, it's absolutely clear. You chose it so that the karma would match your karma. So now you have a chance to say, well, all right, the least I can do, the very least I can do is be grateful that I have this, for it's through this that I can become enlightened. It's through this that I can find joy and happiness and equanimity and peace in my life. And then to thank the Father for everything that he gave you. It doesn't matter. Some of you have had fathers who were wonderful. Some of you have had fathers who did something in their life that was horrendous, or maybe not horrendous, maybe just not nice. But to transform that shadow within yourself, you must forgive. You must forgive and turn inward with gratitude and say, oh, I see. That's a really, really challenging piece of karma to accept, to be a father. It's very challenging. Now, I want to summarize this and say just a couple of things. What symbolically are we talking about? We're talking about the part of your being that is power. The part of your being where power resides is the same symbol as Father. Where the power resides. The power to do what? To get up out of your bed, to feed yourself, to clothe yourself, to interact with the world, to dance, to sing, to make art, to walk along the water, to camp, to kayak, to write, to run your business, to negotiate, to drum. The power within yourself comes from the solar energy. They say that the greatest power comes from the lunar energy because it is the lunar energy that moves to the solar energy and causes that solar energy to release. And so you, by turning inward, you and I, by turning inward today and attuning to that energy within us, and if we choose attuning to the solar energy, which is represented by the external father, stepfather, bonus father, uncle, father figure, think about them. All those souls who are men embodied in a male body in this lifetime, who have blessed you. For we need to and we want to release the healing power of that energy, the good leadership quality of that energy, the quality of that energy that allows you to discern what is right for you at this moment, to not be swayed by the chaos, to not be swayed by the lies, to not be swayed by the misinformation, but to be able to turn inward to the logic and say, I can quiet my mind. And in the quietude of my mind, I can see what is happening. Don't fool yourself. The world is in a bit of a mess at this time. And 140 wars plus going on in the world. It's a mess. And you probably didn't even know there were 140 of them. And I know I've undercounted. But you and I have a choice to make. You can balance your consciousness. You can heal yourself. You can strengthen yourself. And you can attune to that strength, that goodness, that wisdom, and improve your life. So we're going to do a meditation, if you will. We'll meditate together and begin that healing process if you choose. And then we will close as we always do with our meditative prayer to send our blessings together to all of those who are in need. But remember this, please, within you, within your consciousness, within the consciousness of our culture, cultures, not singular, cultures, within the consciousness of the earth plane. This symbol of the Father, which is often identified with the symbol of God, is a symbol of authority. But with that authority, somehow as it has come down to the earth plane, there is mixed with it a sense of strictness, of punishment. It makes no sense at all to my heart, to my soul, to my mind that we would have a worldwide theology that says that the God, the good, the greatest, most compassionate being in all of life, would need his son to die. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that Lord Shiv would cut the head off of his son, or the Kronos would devour his children. There's something deeper there, my beloved. There's something deeper there. Meditate upon it. See what you discern and how it impacts your life and how it impacts how you react to the world and what you see as your own solar power. And correct the problem. If Papa was a disappointment, forgive him. Forgive him. Ask yourself, think about the problem that Papa caused or created in your life. Make sure it's really clear. Ask yourself, what would it do? What would you get from it if you went and told him, you were a blah, 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 you did that to me? I don't know. To me, the answer when I faced that question was nada, nothing. There's nothing to be gained from that. I don't need that. What do I want him to do? Say, I'm sorry? I know he's sorry. I don't need to cause more pain in the world. And this is what the quest is about. All of our actions, all of our thoughts, don't cause more pain and suffering for other people or for yourself. So let's turn inward and find a way to open our hearts and forgive and bless and bless and bless, and use that solar energy to bless. Namaste Ji. Sit with your spine erect, please, and your hands in the Om Mudra. Thumb and index finger together, hands cupped upward, placed upon the thighs. Turn the head to the left with a double exhalation. Bring the head back to the center and begin to watch the breath. Using the sipping breath, pull the energy from the limbs to the trunk. And again from the trunk to the spinal column. From the base of the spine to the sun center. Move that energy out as a golden ball of light out in front of you. Expand it. And sweep around to the left, encasing your entire being in the golden light. And now ascend. Ascend to the highest place. Entering the high place, find yourself a safe, beautiful place of refuge within this high place. in your mind's eye, a gigantic mirror appears in front of you. Gazing into the mirror, you see around you all of the divine ones prepared to help you. Now in the mirror, allow to appear the faces, the images, one by one, of all of those beings who have served as a father to you in this life, who have guided you, who have protected you, who have sheltered you. One at a time, allow them to appear. The person who enabled you to be biologically born, the father who raised you, any coaches or mentors, uncles, grandfathers, all of the divine ones in male form to whom you have attuned. See them gathered in your mirror. Now in the mirror, offer each soul a gift. The gift is a present, a memory of some good that they gave to you. Offer it, see it appear in the mirror and see them accepted. As you offer them, thank them. Feel your gratitude. Feel your heart open. Feel the blessings you have been given. See the solar light appear in the mirror, the brilliant light of the sun, reflecting from your sun center, shining into the mirror. And as the mirror does, see it reflect back to you. Feel the light of the sun melting away any disappointment, warming the heart, melting away the fears. Om Shri Ravi Namaha. Om Shri Ravi Namaha. Om Shri Ravi Namaha. Allow yourself to receive the blessings of the sun. To feel its warmth, its nourishment, its strength. The sun in balance to help you to grow, to mature, to unfold to the flower of your enlightenment. As you gaze at the mirror of your mind's eye, begins to dissolve away, and all of the male external figures, the sun symbols, merge into a golden light, a circle of light. They become one. The circle of light has a bindu, a dot, your balanced self-awareness. The mirror dissolves. The solar symbols merge into the light. You lift that circle with the bindu to your sun center. Bowing in gratitude for all of the wisdom contained within that circle, for all of the effort contained within that circle, for all of the work and the trying and the love. And the wisdom. Feel the wisdom radiating forth from that circle. And draw it to your sun center. Feeling it merging at the Agya chakra, merging with the light of your inner sun. Feel that radiant sun, that solar disk, moving down your spine, down the back of the spine and up the center of the spine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hold your attention at the sun center as we send forth our meditative prayers. O ye powers that be, we call upon thee at this moment. Most beloved and precious Ishtai in all of thy names and all of thy forms. O ye helpers in all of the realms, we call upon thee at this moment. Thou knowest the needs far better than we. Thou seest the pain, the difficulties, the challenges far, far better than we. We call upon thee to join with us, that healing be poured upon the earth. Mother Gaia be blessed, that all of the beings that live upon Mother Gaia be blessed, that all of the states of imbalance be healed. We call upon thee to remove the fears, to fill the lack, to let us each as a jewel in Indra's net bring balance to our own minds, to our own hearts, to our own beings. That as we radiate that forth at this moment, that Indra's net will be strengthened and vivified and balanced and healed again and again and again. As we chant the Om Shanti mantra, feel that light pouring forth from your sun center and radiating into all of life. Feel it radiating throughout Indra's net, each touching each jewel, each being, each creature that we are a part of sharing life with. That all may have that which is most needed in the highest good. And let us chant the Om Shanti mantra. And let us send that forth and chant the mantra 7 times. Om Shanti, 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 Om, 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. My beloved, thou art blessed. Thou art filled with the light of the divine. Thou art filled with balanced solar and lunar energy. Sup upon the balance. Sup upon the anandic bliss. Radiate that forth to all of those who enter your aura. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Namaskar. Thank you for the blessings of your presence. It is a joy to be with you. It is a joy to share in these meditations with you. Keep repeating the practice. Keep healing. Heal yourself again and again and again. And as you do heal yourself, life will be healed. As you balance again and again, life will be balanced. My beloved, this chaos that's continuing, bring yourself back into balance again and again and again and again. Namaste, Ji.